Hello and welcome to the Yarnings podcast. I'm Christine and I'll be your host. This is episode 72. It is November 5th, 2015. It is a Thursday and I'm recording in the evening, so my lighting may look a little different. I am actually tinking a few stitches because I picked this up and realized that I had not done what I was supposed to do. So thank you for joining me. I am really glad you're here today. I am glad that if you are checking me out for the first time, I'm glad you decided to tune in, and thank you to all of my regular, awesome viewers. You are always so cool. So, with that said, let's move into life stories. More renovation happenings going on. There is a new blog post reviewing where I'm at so far, pictures in progress, and that kind of thing, so you're welcome to go check that out on my KDLB blog. I will link to that in the show notes. This last week I had a dentist appointment, I enjoyed some fall leaves, and Time Hop tells me I learned to knit 9 years ago. I do wonder what it would be like if I had learned to knit sooner, where my knitting would be at now. But 9 years, that's a pretty nice time. I have grown in my knowledge over that time, and that makes me really happy. I also had my fun jewelry party this last week, and that was really a cool way to celebrate my girliness, and I am really excited that I got to chat with a few of you guys while it was going on, and so that was definitely a fun part of my week. I think that's all for life stories. Let's move into yarnings and knitting adventures. I am wearing a finished object. You can see I haven't woven in the ends yet, but it is blocked and dry. This is my Viajante. This is patterned by Martina Bem in a lace weight Peruvian alpaca yarn that my friend Angel brought back from Peru. It is a little bit, maybe towards a heavier lace weight. And I knit this for the Knitwear Girls Bame Along. I have been knitting along with their never-ending Bame Along and the Summer of Lace and Beads because I put fancy dancy beads all the way throughout here. So, when I stand back, go out one arm. It probably could go a little longer if I stretched it. I like how the blocking turned out. You can see that I did the mesh goes in diagonals one way and the beads go in diagonals the other way, and I really like that effect. The beads are not in the pattern. I found a couple people's that I liked, and then I think I adapted it slightly. I did this one row up here of beads and eyelets before I got to the mesh, and then I did a beaded bind off that puts a bead on the bottom of every decrease of the mesh, and I really like it. It is a perfect color. Angel knew that when she picked it, that this would be a very Christine color. I like how the cowl part got a little more volume when I blocked it. It was a little more snug around my neck, and now I have a little more looseness. I could probably pull this down further on my shoulders, but then I couldn't move my arms to knit, so that would be a problem. So I think it will be a nice loose like that for the most part for me, and it's really nice. I am really pleased. I started it in June before I went to ZK, so I'm in Apocalypse, and I've just been slowly working on it. Wonder if I can see. So that far into the mesh is where I ran out of the first 200 grams of yarn. So I had measured off 200 of my kilo. I wasn't ready to be done at that point. So I just attached on the cone and finished knitting directly from that rather than waiting more off. So I don't know exactly how much I used, but it's kind of a guess how much yardage is on this cone anyhow, because I wasn't going to go through the idea of putting it on a nitty-notty and all that and weighing and seeing. I haven't done that because I had so much of it, I wasn't worried about running out. Maybe that could be more of a concern as I get further down in the cone, but I'm really happy with it, and I think I'm going to get a lot of fun usage out of this over the holidays and the winter. I can actually pull it up over my head, and I think that could be a very nice thing for days when it's actually cold and I still want to look nice. I can do that. Once I weave in the ends. I won't wear it out like that, probably. So, that's my finished object. Is there any other details I need to tell you about? I think I'm putting some of the notes on the things that I did in my project page, so if you want to see the modifications I made, they should be there. If you're hearing that clunking, that is actually my floor mat down here. My desk chair floor mat has cracked, and when I step on certain places, it cracks again. It's not working, and I need to get a new one. All right, so works in progress. This is On the Motorway by Adrian Larson. Adrian Larson, there we go. In Blue Moon Fiber Arts, Socks That Rock, heavyweight, repurposed from a sweater that didn't fit me. You can see the cables in there, although with the lighting tonight, it's showing up more of the color changes than it is the cables. In real life, the color changes aren't quite as obvious, but it's a nice variegation. I'm alternating skeins, and I've made some progress this weekend. We drove down to Gladstone, where there's a vegetarian food store, and replenished our stocks. Now I have some vegetarian dinner roasts for the holidays. And while we were on our drive, I knit on this, so that was nice. I haven't measured lately to see where I'm at, but I do have a ruler here, my handy dandy girls rule slat bracelet ruler, so when I measure, sometimes the slat bracelet comes out. Alright, so I'm at about 9 inches. So I'm wanting to get to 11 before I change how the cables cross. So I'm coming along. But this is getting kind of put aside for the other sweater I cast on. Other works in progress. These are the ends of my Swiffer cover, which have only gotten just a little bit of work on them. And my Paniculkin socks. Paniculkin. Because they are Spartacus dyes Paniculkin purple. I was knitting on them at the dentist office, and that's probably where I stopped. So I have nice toes. You can see the pops of pink in there that make me so happy. And every once in a while there's even a little pop of blue, and it's just such a dynamic, probably a tonal. I guess you'd still call it a tonal even with the other pops in there, but it's really nice. So these are my purse knitting, and in the case of Thursday afternoon, they were dentist chair knitting because he had multiple emergencies come in and had to wait. To wait a little bit longer in the chair to see the dentist after my cleaning. So let's knit on these instead of my On the Motorway with all of its stitch markers. There we go. But I guess I actually have to put these down if I'm going to show you the next thing. I just saw them in the middle of the row, and that makes me think, oh wow, I should knit. I should get to the end of that row. But maybe not this time. So, those are living in my awesome Creative Mojo bag. And now we get to my new work in progress. So I have checked this book out of the library, Top Down Sweaters by Ann Budd. I have checked it out many times. I've checked it out and renewed and renewed and renewed because it seems like such a great resource, but I hadn't had a chance to actually knit anything from it. So when I was deciding what I wanted to knit, I wanted to do some color work. So I looked through here and she has a whole section on seamless yoke sweaters. It's a whole section and then multiple patterns. This one is the Fibonacci rings, and that's the one that my gauge from my gauge swatch, which is right here. I brought it so I could show you my gauge swatch. I did just one little stripe of the hand spun just to make sure that it wasn't totally out of proportion. It's a little airy, but since it's going to be stranded in the top, and I will never wear it just on its own, like without a tank top underneath it, because it's not scratchy, but it's got alpaca, and so I probably wouldn't wear a stranded colorwork top without a tank or something underneath it. Just my own comfort level. So what else do I want to tell you about this? This is my gauge swatch. And I picked out, I don't remember what exactly I showed you last time, my Daisy Knits, that's this one, Thinking of Mel in the petal base, and my hand spun, this is the cheesecake, what I was calling the cheesecake hand spun from Wool Gatherings. It's a 4-ply, and I started playing. And I used my graphing software to come up with a little something, and then I diverged from that. I did a bunch of stuff from the middle of the ball, and then when I got down to this part of the motif that I wanted to do, I'm doing it from the outside of the ball for a little color variation, but they've still got the same colors inside of them, so they go. The contrast isn't super contrasty, but I think it's going to be a lovely sweater, even though it's not going to show up the pattern quite the same way as I thought. That's just probably meaning that I need to put this pattern on something else as well. You can see the inside of my strands, and while I'm stranding, I posted this on Instagram a little while ago, I am always keeping the blue color, the solid, in one hand and the hand spun in the other hand, so knitting two-handedly for the colors. I don't know where I was at in the pattern, so I'm reversing those stitches. And that is working well for me. So I still have quite a bit of hand spun, so my hope is that after I'm done with the yoke, I will actually continue stranding after I separate for the sleeves, and then the body will get a little bit of the color work too. I just have to make sure that it is that it's still loose enough stranding that I'll be able to get it on and all that. But I think that's going to be a okay plan. I've never done a yoke sweater before. I haven't done a lot of color work, so it might be a learning experience. But in theory, this is my Nanny Swaymo National Knit a Sweater in a Month sweater. And it's a nice 4.5 stitch per inch gauge. So the theory is I should be able to do that. I have done 3 sets of increases. I think so. Yeah. I think so. So then I think it goes to 5. I think there are increase round 4. Okay, so I have done 3 of the increase rounds. I have 1 more increase round, and then I knit until I get to 9 1/4 inches and separate off. So I think this is going to be really cool. I am excited about it. I am loving working on it. And I'm going to really enjoy wearing it too. I think even though the color's getting a little blown out from the pink on me, I think it's going to be a nice color for me. So that is my new work in progress. All right, let's move into spinning a tail. I finished my first cup of my knitting color. Knitting color, it says it down there. I finished the first one, which was about a quarter of the fiber, and I've started the second one. Nice and fine, very slow. I didn't spend quite as much time on this. I guess I worked on it during a movie, but I didn't spend a lot of time. I love how the colors go in there. It's going to be really cool. So I still have a lot of fiber to go, so I will keep spinning away on that. There's a chance that I might get some fiber this weekend too, in addition to the stuff that I got. Did you guys see that? They all nosedived. I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna cut that part out unless it was too loud, but they also landed on a bunch of piles with packing peanuts, and now there's packing peanuts all over the floor. Anyhow, I have this this fiber that is new to be spun, and then I have one more braid from a long time ago. Those are my two braids of existing fiber. So I may go get some more at a festival this weekend. Okay, you guys are just gonna sit there for a minute with all the handspun that fell. Sheesh. Okay, how about Stitch Through Time? So my hexies, I now have 28. I had 24 last week, I think. And I actually move these scissors since I'm a little accident prone apparently. I have more basted and more that are basted. I got another color. Do I have the fabric? No, it's in the other room. I got another color to accent that will go in here, and I'm still basting the pinks and the blues. I think I have 21 each of those, and I've done a couple so that I could start on another flower. So, more progress being made on that. I held the hexies up to the wall. The wall had the first coat of purple on it, and it's not the same purple as this, but it's going to go really nicely. So, these are definitely going on the wall downstairs. Really excited about it. And I came up with kind of a game plan for how I want to put them together. So this new color, these blacks, are going to get attached to one other color, and then these two color blocks will be separators for the layout. So I think that's going to work really well, and I'm excited about that other color, just to kind of bring in something that is not in the other ones, so that I won't have so much of a chance of colors that end up next to each other too much. I don't mind a little bit, but a little less is better. So, and then I could use some of that black as more of a border as well if I decide that it needs it. And that will probably be decided as I go. I have obviously a whole bunch of it, so I can continue to cut that up, because my fat quarters, I still have like a quarter of each of them of the 4 original colors, and I used like a quarter of the new color so far. So still moving along on that. Yay. Okay, knitting community. I was going to tell you about something The thread for last week's episode had a contest where you can win a pampering package, including some jewelry item from Chloe and Isabel from me. So you should go and check that out. I am starting the new thread for the Convocal, so the November-December thread will be up. And yeah, I think that'll cover it for knitting community. So let's move into the non-knitting segments. Sagas of Geekery. Now playing, nothing was played. I didn't bring any of the games over here to show you. This weekend I might get to go play some games. My husband invited me to go along with him, and so if I have the energy, I will go to Guardian with him and get to play some games, and that will be nice because we haven't been out of the house a lot in the evenings and all that, and he's been going to games because I've been worn out and needed the rest, so that would be fun. Now watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Wow, the episode from last week was amazing. The episode from this week was still good. Yeah, there were some surprises. I'm not spoiling anything, but I am really enjoying this season. We also watched Underworld and Underworld Evolution on Netflix. I hadn't seen those since I originally saw them a long time ago. Those are the only two in the series that are on Netflix right now, but it was fun to get to see them again. For now reading, finishing The Shepherd's Crown by Terry Pratchett. It's the final Discworld book, probably by him. He passed away. This one was already done. This is the final Discworld and the final Tiffany Aching subsection of Discworld. There may be other ones that go on with his daughter. She's apparently writing some, but I don't know the status of any of that. And then this weekend, I hope we'll get to listen to more of the Felicia Day book. I got a couple other books from the library, but none of them I have finished to show you. Okay, Book of Cooking. I don't have anything to share with you, but next week I'm hoping to have a book review for you. Fanciful Chatter. You hear the neighbor's smoke alarm? It goes off every day at dinner. So we say, dinner's ready. So there we go. There's your Book of Cooking. Fanciful Chatter. One of the books I did get out of the library was T-shirt surgery. I guess that's Fanciful Chatter. But I found out that there is actually one before this by this author, and some of these are really funky and not quite what I was looking for. So I have the other one on hold. The jewelry party, the Chloe and Isabel jewelry party, is still open. And you can follow the link in the show notes and place your order if you do that soon. I have some of my jewelry maybe in the mailbox right now, and I'm really excited to wear it. I placed an order with some of my hostess rewards today, so I have more coming, and that's exciting. I really, really enjoyed getting to do that. And the happiness continues. Now that I've adjusted my thing, I was feeling askew. Happiness continues. In yoga this week, our teacher talked about figuring out how open your heart is, what fills my heart, and we did heart opening, chest opening poses to go along with that, and that was really good, and it got me thinking a lot. And crafting is filling my heart right now. And I've also been doing a lot of thinking and talking about successfulness and my definition of successfulness. And a lot of that follows along with what you can, when you can. Wick. I have to do baby steps to be successful in things. And it doesn't have to be a grand accomplishment every day. I am defining my own success. and I watched a really cool video. It was actually an ad during another video that I watched with Julianne Hough from Dancing with the Stars. And it was a really cool thing. And so then after that played, I opened it in another window so that I would remember to watch it. It auto played an interview with her. And it was a nice long one. It was like 50 minutes or something. But it was really good. And it really had some things that resonated for me on positivity and thinking about what your mission is. And it was really cool. So I'll link that in the show notes too. All right. I think that will do it for today. So this will be a little bit of a short one, and I will be back again next week. So you can follow me around on the internet. I am Christine with a K on Ravelry. I am Katie Elby, just the letters, on Instagram. You can view the group on Ravelry at the Yarning Podcast group by searching for the Yarnings Podcast group. And the show notes with links to everything I talk about will be at yarningspodcast.com, all squished together. All right, thanks for joining me today, guys. And until next time, that's the story. Bye.